bit of the internet is
yeah.
It's affecting our brains.
But the flip side is, I have projects every now and again where that's just the last thing that bothers people. And I've had songs that are 6 minutes and 7 minutes. And
sure.
So it really depends on the genre and what the end goal is. And then whatever the length is, just making sure that within that, the parts work. And again, it's about kind of playing with emotion and creating movement, and so
yeah.
It really
I remember
depends.
one time you called me out on a song arrangement for a song for a song I was producing, where I kind of just let the artist run free in terms of the arrangement, and it was way too long and getting repetitive, and I don't know why I didn't say anything, and you were like, Ben, this is like way too long, and I'm like, oh, you're totally right. Let's cut the fat.
I can't believe I said that. That's so mean.
No, and I hired you to play piano, and I got production advice.
Oh, yeah,
so
I just remembered what that is. But I think also, in that particular, I think part of what even prompted me to say that is, I think because they're the by the time it got around to whatever it was, however many verse, the lyrics were already the same. So if the artist was trying to say something new there,
right?
Then
like a Dylan or something like that.
Exactly. If you're telling a story through the song and the story's just not over, all right, there's something to talk about. But if you're just saying the same thing again, sometimes if you have a catchy melody, you just want to get into people's heads. Like you might actually do a better job of that by keeping it short and
leaving room to desire more.
Having them hit repeat and start again out of their own will, as opposed to like, wow, this is a really long song, I want to turn this off.
Yeah, you'll make more money on Spotify too.
Good point.
Awesome. Do you have any templates?
I do. Well, the truth is I do, but not really for production. I mean, I have a few for like, I write like string arrangements and stuff in Logic, so just basic things like that I can load up quickly. I don't, because I'm trying to think of the reason why, and I think it really comes from, I mean, everything I work on, it ends up being so different. I think one of the biggest problems I have in terms of, marketing myself is that there isn't necessarily one particular niche. If I would say I just do pop music or I just do world music or ethnic, I don't think that covers everything. And so, a project I might start working on tomorrow could be so different than something that I finished last week that was a pop song or was this or that I kind of just like to, again, I keep saying blank canvas because I really feel that like that is how you should approach each track that you're producing. Everything kind of needs its own attention, and it's even as a piano player, the first thing I always go to is a piano, but there's so many different piano sounds, and one song might need a really small close-up, cozy, mellow sound like it's near a fireplace piano, and another track might you might really need that concert hall big thing. So
and it's easy enough, I guess, just to bring it up within Contact or whatever you're using.
And I feel like just that kind of search process, kind of, it's part of the creative. Again, this is just how I work.
No, that's awesome.
I don't think there's any right or wrong.
For sure. So like searching for those sounds gives you creative juices.
Exactly.
That kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, but I also, obviously, like within Contact, I have like all my favorite things kind of saved there.
Right, so that's in a sense kind of almost like a template.
It's like a template, but yeah, like I have a lot of presets saved.
Yeah, presets.
But never like, I don't open Logic and then it's just like, okay, you're producing a song, so you need da-da-da-da-da, because you just have no idea.
Totally. I guess I don't want to make this about me, but I'll usually have like, a basic piano, a basic drum set, a basic like, Rhodes kind of sound, and maybe a couple other things lined up at the beginning, and some sends for reverbs and delays that I know I use often, just to kind of get a vibe for that sound. And beyond that, obviously, it's easy to... So it's just like something that's very basic. So I know at the very beginning, I need to pull something up. There it is right there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, really, I probably should have. That's the answer, the real answer.
I didn't mean to call you out on the podcast.
I messed with your arrangement.
No, but I like
to get me.
No, but I like that. I like that you are using the searching for sounds as part of the what's inspiring you. And that's for sure true. Like I'll sometimes, if I have free time in the studio, I'll just go through sound banks and find things and look at what's,
exactly.
what's inspiring. And then sometimes, who knows, a song will come out of it, you know?
Exactly. So, sometimes I'll open Omnisphere, and like just with the sounds that are already in there, you can just get so lost and be so inspired by something in there that could take a song in a completely different direction. I feel like it's good to give stuff a chance.
Totally.
Yeah.
That said, is there anything that you use to work faster or get inspired quicker?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm really bad with like all the shortcuts, and I'm slowly learning them.
Same.
I think I was actually listening to a podcast. I think it was the Six Figure Home Studio. With,
love that podcast.
Yeah, love those guys. And it was an episode about systems. Oh, you told me about it. It was about
I think maybe
systems.
This was the one I shared with you.
Yeah, and basically, it's just that realization that if every time you need to pull something up, you're going to 3 places to click 3 different things, you might feel like you're saving time in the short run by not going and just Googling how you can do that with one button.
Yeah.
But if you add that up during the course of a year, it's a few minutes. And if you think about each thing like that you're wasting a few minutes on during, across everything, it does all add up.
It's hours.
Yeah. So I'll get there. When life slows down, I always say that I want to be like a ninja. I want to just be one of those guys that
shopping things up.
Yeah.
I've made myself, I'm just trying to learn a new keyboard shortcut as often as possible.
Right.
And then I forget about that, like that I told myself, oh, I need to learn more. But every time I learn it, it helps me.
Yeah.
And, especially when I'm editing podcasts and stuff, just these quick commands to instantly crossfade, move things around. It's like,
yeah,
and also it helps my wrists.
Isn't it? It's why they're called shortcuts.
That's right. What are some of your favorite instruments? Could be virtual or real, and why?
All of them. Well, it's funny because one of my favorite instruments I actually don't have yet, but I love the Nord pianos. So I'm actually in the process of trying to figure out how I can get one of those without selling everything else I own, including my clothes. I mean, I mentioned Omnisphere before. I actually got that a few months ago, and I'm really just enjoying that. Some of the sounds are really incredible. What else? What are some of my go-to things? Oh, I mean, I'm a big fan of Keyscape, some of the pianos. In fact, a lot of the time with Keyscape, it's not necessarily... I mean, I love the pianos as well, but it's some of the weird little quirky things they have on there, these like toy pianos.
I've heard that from a couple of people.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time, like in a lot of productions, sometimes, the thing that can make it what it is giving it this kind of unique characteristic. And a lot of the time that comes from just some obscure sound that, can come from anywhere.
I mean, I don't know if you've heard the new Billie Eilish record, but
no,
there's like...
yet.
Okay, so this is...
All right, that's what I'm listening to on the way home.
Obligational listening, but the unique sounds that he puts, Billy's brother Phineas, who produces it, puts throughout it is like insane. It's like a horse neighing and like silverware and
right.
like her orthodontist like taking out her retainer or something. So yeah, it's pretty insane. Awesome. How do you balance your creative vision with what the artist is going for? And do you worry about what the artist might think? I think you may have answered some of this already, but...
We just fight all the time. It's a tough one. It's a balance. And I think the thing that I find most of the time is that the reason people work with you is normally because they trust you, which definitely helps. Ultimately as a producer, your job is to take what the artist is trying to say and help them present that and package it in the best way so it can serve the message and serve the music as much as possible. And I think when there's an understanding from the artist that that's what
you're going for,
that's what you're there to do.
Yeah.
Listen, there are times where I work with people who, well, I mean, I say I work with, but I have worked with, and I'm trying very hard not to in the future, who micromanage you on the most minute, tiny things that it's almost like...
Yeah.
It's like, really what you need to do is go and buy a Mac and learn how to use Logic or
Yeah, because you need to produce yourself.
Yeah. You know, like I don't know, as a producer, when you end up just kind of being someone else's hands.
Yeah.
Listen again.
Yeah, this is something I've struggled with a lot also in the past, and not as much currently because I've been trying to set more boundaries. And at a certain point, it's just like, okay, I'm no longer producing this song. This needs to be an hourly thing or something along those lines.
And you want the you know, like the way I measure my success, as well as, you know, by listening to the product at the end, and is ultimately the person who's coming to work with you needs to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, that's just how they are, you know. And it's not even necessarily with music; it could be with every aspect of their life. They need to micromanage.
Yeah.
But in general, again, I like to keep it like an open conversation, and I think that's what's important about kind of. I like to say after every significant step forward, I always take a minute, send it through. Mm-hmm. That's why I love having WhatsApp on my computer, because it's like, okay, here's a little snippet, drop it in there.
So easy.
Yeah, it really is.
It's never been easier.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Most of us tend to fluctuate between high and low levels of creativity. Do you do anything specific when you need to get inspired?
Drink coffee.
Makes two of us.
Not really. I think, well, I don't know. I think there's different kind of levels of creativity. For example, you know, if I'm writing a piece of music or working on one of my own songs or something like that, for that, I feel like I have to really be tapped in to a very specific space. And whereas when I'm producing for someone else, I feel like it's less so, mainly because the creativity and the spark, it's already there. And it's about kind of taking that and getting on board with that and using all the skills and experience that you have to take that to a certain place. Yeah. Whereas, you know, when you're doing something that's your own and you're starting from scratch, it's like, well, if you're not inspired, you can't really do it. Or, I mean, you can, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how awesome it's going to be, you know?
Yeah. It's very hard to do your own stuff when you don't have,
I guess when I'm producing stuff for other people, I kind of try and ride that inspirational wave that they're normally on, try and get on board with them, and
usually that comes pretty easily.
Yeah, and again, that kind of ties into your earlier question, which is that, you know, if you meet with someone who wants to work with you and there's no connection and you're not feeling any inspiration, and you're like, you know, this person isn't even excited about his song, how can I be? Those are the kind of things you kind of, I guess, want to avoid, maybe.
Yeah, so you could just say, like, listen, I don't think this is a good fit.
Yeah, you can always let people down nicely. It's not me, it's you.
You know? Yeah. Awesome. This is something that I know you have. Do you have go-to session musicians when needed?
Yes.
And how do you choose them?
So, this is crazy because, like, I would not be able to say half of these things probably even 10 years ago, but I guess remote recording has completely changed the world. Mm-hmm. And there's just access to the most phenomenal musicians. I mean, obviously there's platforms like Sound Better and I think Air Gigs. I don't even know what they're all called. But, I mean, there's a guy I've worked with in Nebraska. His name is Jacob Sorensen, who I think I was on Instagram and he showed up on, I don't know what it's called, but you know when like random things just show up?
Like,
maybe that's called your feed. No.
Search, when like you're searching?
It's like an explore option or something where based on the things you like, random things come up.
You might enjoy this.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm going to click on this. And I clicked on it and I was absolutely blown away. And I just sent him a message. I was like, do you do remote recording? And
what does this musician play?
He plays bass. Yeah, I mean, I've just messaged him on Instagram, for example, and I was like, do you do remote sessions? And he was like, yeah. And that was it. And like, you know, I guess it's always kind of a bit weird doing things outside of a platform because, you know, he has to send me tracks and he doesn't necessarily know I'm going to pay him. So after that...
But did you work through Sound Better?
No, I didn't find him on Sound Better. I found him on Instagram.
Wow. So that is a lot of trust. What's great about Sound Better is that they...
Right, they kind of act as the middle guys.
Yeah, sure.
But and there's a few people I found like that.